SMG meta is pretty shit, in my opinion. And I'm curious for your thoughts on this, Tanner. But the MP5 nerf, insofar as it was a nerf, did help. So the MP5 is in fact noticeably less good after the nerf with respect to the 9mm rounds where its damage range got nerfed. But it has not been gutted by any means, and it is still a fantastic SMG. And I think that's a good thing. Again, I've given credit to Infinity Ward time and time again that they are doing weapon balancing appropriately, and they're doing nerfs appropriately. They're not gutting anything. They're just stepping it back incrementally until it's in a good spot. And I think this was a perfect start for the MP5 and the Growl, by the way. So Tanner, my question for you, number one, have you used the MP5 post nerf? Does it feel different to you?
I didn't notice a difference. I haven't played it much, but I did not notice any difference whatsoever.
Interesting. Interesting. Let's assume, well, we all know that it did get nerfed.
Technically.
Let's assume that the Vector has more damage range for its 4-shot kill. So the MP5 9mm, it used to have something like 15-meter 4-shot kill. Now it's only like 12 or 11.
Okay.
Let's say the Vector has a 4-shot kill range to 15 meters. So that it can 4-shot kill up to 15 instead of just up to 11.
Uh-huh.
Does that make the Vector ever worth using?
No.
Why?
Runs out of ammo too quickly.
Interesting. So you're still just going to go with
it
MP5?
It takes too long to reload. Yeah. Absolutely.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I would use the MP7, the Uzi, a lot of things over the Vector.
I tend to agree with you, but I need to look at the numbers. You could find this out if you wanted to look into it. I forgot to. But if the Vector has a longer 4-shot kill range now after the MP5 nerf than the MP5, that's a very good thing for the SMG meta. Because then there is a place for a Vector. Because without that, the Vector is worse than the MP5 at literally everything. So hopefully that's the case, but I don't know. The MP7 and the Uzi are the other two top tier SMGs. And when we compare those to the MP5, they both have a lot more range. And as a result, they're a lot more versatile. The MP7 has terrible damage range, but it's extremely accurate. It has no recoil, which means that even though the damage range for each bullet is bad, it is so easy to keep shooting someone at range that it actually does have range, just by virtue of the fact that it's so accurate and it has such a fast fire rate. And then in the case of the Uzi, it actually has damage range. Each bullet travels a lot and does a lot of damage. And for that reason, I find both of these to be far more versatile than the MP5, even though they both do not kill as fast in your ass territory.
I agree with all that.
You agree with all that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So that is basically how I see it, though. There's the MP5, the MP7, and the Uzi. Those are good SMGs. They have different niches. But every other SMG, the Bizon, the AUG, the P90, and the Striker, they're usable. But compared to the other three SMGs, there's no reason to actually use them. They don't do anything better than the other three SMGs. Agree or disagree, Tanner?
I think the P90's in a higher category. The Bison is really fun to use, so I hate that it's so bad in this game.
I feel exactly the same way.
That is probably my favorite SMG to use.
I love it.
It's so much fun. And
especially with 86 rounds, you just never reload.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Go on.
So the AUG, I am seeing people use it in competitive play currently. Apparently it's killing really quickly since 10mm was kind of with that whole fiasco. I know people started using the AUG, and I saw a few clips on Twitter posted from the pros, of then getting shit on by it, like in a kill cam, and they would die so fast to it. So the pros are experimenting with that, the AUG. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
That is interesting. That is interesting. Why do you think the P90 is in a higher category than these? Because of the sprint out time?
Yeah. Well, the only negative about the P90 is it runs out of ammo too fast. Well, the biggest thing is it runs out of ammo. Like, the magazine size is fine. It's just the fire rate so high that it burns through it quickly. Mm-hmm. It's still really fun to use. It's still better than the Bison, better than the Striker, better than the AUG, in my opinion. But yeah, the SMGs are kind of all over the place, like you're saying. They haven't figured those ones out yet.
So, yeah.
In terms of balancing.
Agreed. I kind of disagree with you. I don't think the P90... They're all... So the Bison, AUG, P90, and Striker, they're all different. But if you're trying to just do as best as you can, I don't think there's a reason to ever use any of those four over an MP7, Uzi, or MP5. And Tartar Bits in the chat, whom I respect very much, and who is far better than I am at this shit game, says the AUG 556 is pretty underrated in my opinion. That may be true, but the way I see the AUG, particularly with the 556 ammo, is like, yeah, the 556 is really good on the AUG, and it actually makes the AUG quite good. But at that point, why wouldn't I just use an assault rifle that is going to be way better than the AUG 556?
Yeah.
Like, I've used an AUG 556, and it does have a lot of damage range, a lot of DPS, because the fire rate's pretty fucking good. But it's not better than an assault rifle. I mean, an AUG 556 is just not better than an M4. But it accomplishes basically the same goal as an M4, but it does a worse job at it. So at that point, why not just use an M4? Because once you do a 556 AUG setup, it's going to handle a lot more slowly. It's going to scarcely, if at all, feel like an SMG. So then at that point, I'm just going to use an AR anyway. So, like, I agree that the AUG 556 is quite good, but what it does is it just makes it another of the 6 average assault rifles, at which point I have to ask, why not just use an AR?
Yeah.
That's the way I see the AUG 556. It doesn't actually give you anything that is distinct from a regular ass assault rifle, which I wouldn't have to take an extra attachment to convert to an assault rifle, by the way. That's the way I see it. I could be wrong. I haven't experimented much with the AUG, but that's where I'm at right now.